Hello again, who am I? Well, it's hard to imagine that I'm trying to emulate Leland Vittert. He's always smiling, you know, those twinkly eyes of his. And he's doing what he gets paid to do, not Donald. So now being the 7th of August 2016, he's telling the world that listens to him on Fox News that Hillary is ahead of Donald in the polls. Again, it's these polls. What do we learn about polls? They're worthless. But there's nothing else to talk about other than the polls. Now, who in their right mind would be voting for a basket case like Hillary? I guess the qualifier there is who in their right mind. And most Democrats aren't in their right mind. Most Democrats don't even know what the Democratic Party stood for and still stands for. They haven't got a clue. You know, I've got almost 14,500 videos online, and I've made hundreds of them trying to bring Democrats up to speed. It's a difficult task. But let me go through it one more time. You never know. I might get lucky. For those of you that are familiar with the slave trade, you need to know it was started by the Muslims. It still is run by Muslims. You want a kidney, you want a liver, you want a heart, get enough money, you can have whatever you want. And a Muslim will get it for you. It'll even match your blood type. All right, so blacks were one of the first slave owners. A slave that earned his freedom was one of the largest slave owners. Many blacks owned slaves. In the late 1800s, what was it, 3,000, maybe 100 or 200 blacks owned over 12,500 slaves. I mean, that's the reality. The Ku Klux Klan that hung blacks from trees, well, that was started by your KKK in the late 1800s by Democrats. The Jim Crow laws that made blacks second-class citizens, Democrats. Not allowing people to enter the country or trying to prevent people from entering the country in the late 20s, early 30s, Democrats. In 1952, Democrats voted to ban Muslims from ever entering the country. In 1952. And that was run by a Democratic Congress, a Democratic Senate, and a Democratic President. Muslims were banned, and they still are. If Congress would adhere to the laws, Obama wouldn't be here because he's a Muslim. None of them would be here because they weren't allowed in the country. But, like one would expect, they use whatever laws they want to use to benefit themselves, and those that they don't want, they don't use. I've made 2 or 3 videos on that. Yeah, just Google when Muslims were not allowed entry into the United States in the 1952 timeframe. It's all Democrats. And what kind of African American would vote for a Democrat when they learn what Democrats have done to African Americans? You know who freed them? The Republicans. You know, those that they vote against. Totally and completely insane. Don't know if this is going to resonate with anyone. I hope it does. I hope some of the folks wake up. Do your own research. Don't believe me. Do your own research. What I know is we've got someone in the Oval Office that has no right being there. And he wouldn't be there if it wasn't for Nancy Pelosi having vetted someone that can't be vetted. Are you sort of getting clued in? All of it's for naught, because when it comes right down to it, none of it really matters anymore. Why? Personally, I think it's too late. That flop-eared, crack-smoking Sunni Islamic extremist, fudge-pecking, bastard Muslim Arab has no plans to ever give up his power. He can't. His life depends on him maintaining his power. And he knows it. It's amazing how I started off talking about polls and I end up talking about you-know-who. It is what it is. Thanks for listening.